Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to another Chamber Check-In episode from Idaho's only five-star accredited chamber. And what that five-star accreditation means is that we are among the top 1% of chambers across the entire country to receive that accreditation. Thank you to our comms team for doing all the copious amounts it works to achieve that accreditation. We're up for it again, so cheer us all on. So today we get to hear from the owner of an Idaho-based elevator company. Let me check my notes here. We have Kristie Chavez. She's owner of Young Elevator Inc. It's your local Idaho independent choice for elevator service, whether you are looking for repairs, remodels, service, or what I just discovered recently, installation. So I'm going to bring Kristie on right now.
Thank you so much for having me, Paul. I really appreciate it.
Oh, Kristie, of course. Thanks for being a member of the chamber. We love the work that you do. And wow, how often do you get to talk to an Idaho elevator company?
It is a little unique, that's for sure. It's a tight-knit trade.
Well, certainly a trade that you don't want to break down when you're in one.
This is true. And there's a few around town that I will prefer to take the stairs.
We won't talk about those, but we'll introduce you to those people who need your service.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, Kristie, the story is pretty cool. And I've heard it before, but for those that don't know the Young Elevator story, bring us back to the 70s with your dad being a mechanic and tell us how it all started.
Yeah, so my family history in the industry goes back to 1972. My dad was a service mechanic and superintendent for one of the major elevator companies. And so, I have fond memories of driving around in the back of the service truck with the parts all around me and no seatbelt, 1980s. But things have come a long way since then. But my parents actually started the cab interior portion of our company in 1995. So we fabricate all of the finish work inside of the elevators. And he was doing that simultaneous while he was still a superintendent for one of the major elevator companies. And fast forward to 2008, my husband, John, got into the industry also, working for the family company for 5 years. And then he got into the elevator union to become a mechanic itself. And so he was working for another independent elevator company, primarily as a modernization mechanic, but he also did service and repair. And so in 2021, my parents had kind of phased out of the cab interior portion of the company. And John and I just had a vision to resurrect the company to a full service company utilizing his skills on all aspects of the industry, and just decided to start our company in Idaho. We sold everything that we had. We packed up our 4 kids. We went to a state that we knew one elevator mechanic and barely knew the street names. There were maybe a couple of people that thought we were crazy, but you know what? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. And we've been blessed ever since. And we're very grateful to this community for welcoming us, believing in our vision, all of our customers, our mentors in the industry, and our supporters like the chamber.
Oh, wow. I love how the story of your dad from just being a mechanic for an elevator company found an opportunity to provide an interior enhancement. You said it was called a cab something?
Cab interiors.
And so that's like beautification, right? To make it look sweet, right?
Yes.
And there's probably all kinds of different ways that you can modernize that interior and make it match the, I don't know, the vibe of the place that the elevator's in, right?
Yes, and it really is the cherry on top. So if you're doing a modernization project and you're changing out all of the functional components of an elevator, the pump unit, the door equipment, the controller, all of these things, the customer doesn't see that. but the end product is that interior. So then, people walk into the elevator and they're like, wow, we have a new elevator.
I'm glad you said the customer experience, because I think that's really important, because all we want to do is make sure we get from floor 1 to floor whatever we're going to. And we don't even think about the inner workings of an elevator. In fact, you talk about elevator pitch, right? You've got 30 seconds, right?
Right.
And you're riding in an elevator with someone, so you're thinking about that. But help me understand the things that the owners of the company may keep them up at night with their elevator service. Like what types of things do you solve? What are those solutions?
Well, definitely just being a responsive company. Our customers have a direct line of communication to not only me, but my husband, the owners of the company. So we care about our customers being satisfied. We want responsiveness, prompt service. We keep our service base primarily to the Treasure Valley for that reason, so that we can respond in a timely manner, and then just access to the highest skilled mechanics in the area as well. But also, something that is important to share with building owners is that we want them to be aware of the service contracts that they have. You want a company that is going to hold themselves to what's in that contract. And so we like to use language in our contract that is, for instance, how many times are we going to be there in a year to provide routine maintenance, not just a callback because something's broken, where some other contracts have very vague language that doesn't hold the company to any standard to perform that work. So it's really important to us that we want to bring back that traditional service where your mechanic is there, monthly if it's a monthly routine maintenance. I'm communicating with the customer what has been done, and just keep that open line of communication so that we can prevent.
We'll bring you back on here in a second. As I'm listening to you, I'm thinking about, I wonder how many elevators there are across the valley, because you don't think about it. In every single building, there's probably at least one. We'll bring you back on here in a second. Looks like we lost you. When Kristie comes back, we'll talk about some other things. But what I do want to say about Young Elevator is that there's something really special that happened that not a lot of independent elevator companies get, and it is this. It's this IUEC accreditation, and it really means a lot to a locally owned elevator company, because it means they can hire different service folks from all over the country and pay a good wage. So that's another thing that's really cool that we're going to talk to Kristie about as soon as she pops back in. I'm going to bring her on the stage here again.
I'm back, and just like that,
Kristie, welcome back.
Just like that, it was a customer, and I answer my calls.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So we were talking just about the kinds of service that your clients expect from an elevator company. But moving on a little bit, was there anything that you wanted to finish your thought on?
I guess just maybe the services that we do offer. We offer service, repair, modernization, new installations, state testing on commercial elevators and residential elevators, and of course, the custom cab interiors, which are fabricated from our shop in Caldwell.
And that's kind of been your bread and butter for many years, right?
It has. I mean, that's how we started out at this point, because we've become so busy with everything else that we were really wanting to get this company to. We do fabricate our own elevator interiors, but we do not build and supply to other companies anymore, because obviously we can only do so much. So.
Okay, I have a couple questions before we get into the IUEC accreditation. Funny question. Do you know how many elevators there are in the Treasure Valley?
Oddly enough, I do. There are 7,500, at least the last I checked. And that's within the whole state of Idaho, 7,500, but we're adding new ones rapidly all the time. And so it's a growing area. And that was one of the appeals to bringing our company here. And then also, I think just the fact that we're family owned, we're an independent elevator company, we're not a global corporation, it really resonates with Idaho.
Okay, and another kind of dumb question. What's the percentage of people that actually get stuck in an elevator?
I don't have a number on that, but it really does not happen very frequently. So thank goodness.
And then what's the response time if you get stuck and you hit the button, right? I'm stuck.
Well, basically it's just our drive time from here to whatever the building is. And being that we keep our service base tight, we can be there within a half an hour.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right. Now let's spend the rest of the time chatting about what this IUEC means for your company and your workforce.
Yes. So the IUEC is the International Union of Elevator Constructors. And basically, it's the gold standard with their apprenticeship program. Being that we're signatory to the IUEC, we hire from the same labor pool as all the major elevator companies. And our mechanics are also required to go through the 4 to 5 year long apprenticeship program. That's full-time in the field with us, but also the classroom portion as well. And so being able to offer our customers, local, family-owned, responsive company and the highest skilled labor that the major elevator companies have as well.
That's huge. What an achievement.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It was a journey we knew we wanted to get to. My, dad was an IUEC member since 1972. John was in the IUEC working for another company. We wanted to get to that point with our company, and we're grateful to be here.
All right, Kristie. For those that are listening, or watching, the youngelevators.inc.com scrolling on the bottom of the screen. I challenge you to get on that website and look at all their different services. Before I get on these calls, I just really look thoroughly through our members' websites. So I learn more, and I always learn something new every single time. With the last few minutes here, Kristie, is there anything else that might have popped up in our conversation that you'd like to educate the listeners on?
We do have a section on our website, a tab called resources, where we have some blog articles about, how to plan ahead for a modernization project, what to look for in a service contract, what type of equipment is important when you're installing. And we're firm believers in, non-proprietary equipment. It really opens the window for the building owner to use any service company that they want. There's also not planned obsolescence of parts, longevity of the equipment, and it's also made in the United States. So tariff-free is something that we like. And then in terms of new installation, while we can get an MRL elevator, which is a machine room-less elevator, we don't install those. We like a traditional elevator system with a machine room for longevity, safety, and a whole lot of benefits to that. And so we have information on our website for that as well.
All right, another question came up in my mind that I was thinking about while you're talking. What do you prefer to work on, new build or existing systems?
Our niche in the industry is definitely existing buildings for service repair and then modernization. So John has about 20 years modernizing proprietary equipment to non-proprietary. We also have another mechanic on our team that was a resident mechanic at UCLA for 20 years. They have 500 elevators on campus, and he was a modernization mechanic. And that campus has gone to all non-proprietary equipment. And so he has a wealth of knowledge as well. And then, of course, the cherry on top of that project would be the cab interiors. And we're the only cab interior builder in Idaho.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So it's likely that any elevator we step our foot into is something that you've worked on, I would imagine, here, at least in the Treasure Valley.
We're getting out there for sure. And we do new installations as well. And those elevators that we choose to work with vendors that their equipment is made in the United States. They have decades long experience. The equipment's made to last the lifetime of the building. And so there's a lot of advantages to installing that type of equipment.
Okay, so we're safe to travel to the 26th floor of the new Arthur building, right?
Absolutely. And then just hit the call button if you need to, and we'll come get you out.
Kristie, thank you so much for your time today, helping me share your company.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, everything you do for the community and your time with us today.
Absolutely. Say hi to John and the rest of the team. Have a great weekend and see you at the next event.
Thank you. Take care.